Alright guys, Luke here, and this is a second special Epic Film Challenge related video. I'm just going to kind of put it under the banner of the Epic Film Challenge because it's film related, and you know, the reason I did the Epic Film Challenge to begin with is because I wanted to see more films. And why do I love watching films? Because films tell stories, and so I thought I'd share a story with you, and this story is meeting Christopher Lloyd. When I was a kid, one of my favourite films was Back to the Future. I used to watch it over my nan's house. My nan and my granddad, they had this huge library of videos, and they had this big book with like all the lists of like what films there were, and so I would always kind of look through it while I was having dinner to decide what film to watch that night whenever I would stay over there for the weekend. And I always used to go to B, Back to the Future. It was actually labelled by alphabetically labelled. It was really cool actually. You know, if videos were still around today, it would still be pretty impressive. But yeah, so I used to watch that a lot as a kid, and Back to the Future really reminds me of my nan. That's not to say she's not with us anymore, but it really kind of reminds me of her a lot. Just so the amount of times we've watched it together, and she loved it as well. My granddad enjoyed it from time to time as well. And you know, when I was a kid, I think Back to the Future was definitely one of my favourite films, and one of the ones that I watched over and over again. For Christmas from my nan one year, I got the Back to the Future video box set, which was 4 videos that made up the DeLorean, and the 4th one was like a behind the scenes thing. I watched them so much that the 3rd film actually got ripped up through my VHS player. And then when the DVDs came out, I got them the day they came out and wore them out, and I got the Blu-rays now. You know, they're just films that I can totally justify buying again and again. If they come out with another high definition format, I'll be there, I'll be buying it, you know. But yeah, Back to the Future. I just think even now it's one of my favourite films. It offers so much. You know, it's got romance, it's got action, it's got comedy, adventure, sci-fi. You know, time travel, and it's just got a little bit of everything, and it just all blends perfectly. You know, great characters, great story. And the one guy that I always loved from Back to the Future was Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd. That's someone I used to go through when I was about 8 or 9, maybe even younger than that. I always used to want to find out who was, in fact yeah, I must have been younger than that. I always wanted to find out who the actors were. I soon found out that Doc Brown's real name was Christopher Lloyd. And I saw him in other things, The Page Master, a great kids film I used to love as well. The Addams Family, though I didn't watch that as much when I was a kid. He was also in Taxi, which I used to watch a lot when we had the Paramount Comedy channel. And yeah, I just love Christopher Lloyd, but Doc Brown is just one of my favourite film characters. Maybe my favourite film character of all time. I absolutely love him. He's so funny and so over the top and grandiose and really entertaining in those films. You know, he makes those films for me. You know, I think Michael J. Fox is fantastic as Marty McFly. You know, he's got one of the coolest film characters, but Doc Brown just blows him out of the water. He's just brilliant. Now, I never ever thought I would get the chance to meet Christopher Lloyd. I always just think when I was a kid, you know, that I would never get to meet people like that. And I was never even that interested either in kind of like going to those conventions and so on. But when I actually started this YouTube channel about a year ago, I started getting into wrestling DVDs again and getting them signed by wrestlers. And then I thought, hang on, it'd be quite cool to maybe get some of my film DVDs signed by people who are in the film. So I was thinking in particular Star Wars, so I thought, okay, I'll see if there's any Star Wars people doing conventions in the UK this year, which was last year, 2011. And there was the guy who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, Tamora Morrison. He was appearing at the London Film and Comic Con. And I thought, oh, that's cool. So I looked up the London Film and Comic Con, and I was just looking through the names, you know, like so-and-so from Doctor Who, okay, Christopher Lambert, Highlander, oh, pretty cool. Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future, yeah. One of the guys from Harry Potter. What? I literally just was shell-shocked. I mean, Christopher Lloyd's going to be at a convention in the UK, in London. I mean, by now I go to London. Well, I used to go to London so much that, you know, if I was maybe 15 or 16, you know, that would be completely out of the question. But these days, getting to London is so easy. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And it was in July. It was about a week after my birthday, and I just found myself just like shifting my mouse over to buy ticket, you know. And I let my fiance know. I was like, "Can we go to this?" Because she was moving here from Norway. pretty much a few weeks before that, and she would have had to come with me if I was going to go. And she thought it was pretty cool and agreed to go. And then she found out there was someone else going there who she really loved and she wanted to meet him. So that was cool. We both got you know, excited about it. So I thought, wow, I'm going to meet Christopher Lloyd. You know, I couldn't believe it. It was just, you know, I got an adrenaline rush just thinking about it. And I was going to get my DVD signed, but then I kind of I bought this Back to the Future poster here, and I had it framed with this black frame. And it just looks awesome, so I just thought maybe I should take the poster. So I rolled the poster up. I couldn't find like a poster tube or anything, so I just kind of wrapped it up in an elastic band and put like a plastic covering over it. And off we went, really. We woke up about 3 in the morning to get a really early coach into London, because we got the early bird ticket for the entrance to Earl's Court, which is where the film and Comic-Con was taking place. So we paid a bit extra just to kind of get in early and make sure we got our tickets to get an autograph from certain people, particularly Christopher Lloyd. So we got up at like 3, and it was just like, I would have paid money to just go back to sleep. I was so tired, but we got a taxi into Cardiff, and we waited for an hour. We got a coach then from Cardiff into London, which took 3.5 hours. We got to London. We got a tube to Earl's Court, and there was a big queue. And we joined the queue, and then the queue kind of turned around this side, and there was just this long queue. Must have been about 100 people in it going up to the building. I was like, oh god, I thought we got the early bird ticket. We're supposed to avoid queues like this. And then there was people walking past us, and I was like, that's strange. So I was like, oh, there's probably like a shorter queue at the front. So I followed them, and sure enough, there was a short queue of about 30 people at the front of the door. And I was like, here we go. And I noticed something. It said Gold Platinum Pass members only. And I saw this option on the website, and it was like hundreds of pounds. So I thought, okay. And then there was another queue just past that, which is a bit shorter than the other one. So I was like, okay, we'll go into that one. So we just followed that round this little corner, and then woof, it went down about 3 times as long as the queue before. And we were just like, oh my god. And we followed that down, it turned around the building again, it went even longer. We followed that down, we turned around, and it went on just a little bit further, and there must have been about 2,000 people queuing up. It literally went around the whole way around the building of Earl's Court, all of Earl's Court. There's quite a lot of them, quite a lot of halls and stuff. And we actually came round to the back where the other queue had started, where we were before. So it actually went the whole way around the building. I couldn't believe it. And we both were in really bad moods. We thought we were going to get to meet anyone. And the queue started moving eventually after about an hour, and we were just like, oh. I mean, it wasn't time to go in yet, but we thought that we were just going to miss everything. This coach pulled up next to the line, just next to this kind of side door, and I was stood there, and I said to Connie, my fiancée, I said, oh, it'd be funny enough, Christopher Lloyd walked off on the bus. And she was like, oh yeah, and then she's playing on her phone. Christopher Lloyd walks off the bus, literally 10 feet in front of me, and I was like, that's Christopher Lloyd. Wow. And there he was, and he just walked off and was led into the thing, and I said, that was Christopher Lloyd then. She was like, what? Where? And I just felt like, you know what, if I don't get to meet him, at least I just saw him then. That was effing cool. It was awesome. Anyway, the queue sped up and we got inside, and it was just like madness, mass hysteria, right? It was just like people running around, and I didn't know what I was doing. We got to this big, massive queue to buy autographs, or to buy a ticket to get an autograph. So we stood there, and there was this big, massive guy there with bodybuilder looked like, with this Asian woman with him. And he looked at us, he's like, you don't want to be queuing up there if you want to meet Christopher Lloyd, by the way. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you got to go down there and get your ticket first, otherwise you're not going to see him. And he's been a bit of a twat about it, and I just thought like, oh. Alright then, so I ran off, and I thought maybe he was just trying to distract me. This is what was going through my mind. I was so paranoid, I thought maybe he was trying to distract me and just get a ticket for himself. I was running around and I was asking people, and they were like, oh, by there. And then I eventually found this queue. And what they do is they give you a ticket. The only example I can think of is like in TV shows and stuff, you see people go into stop it! My cat is trying to eat litter. You see like in TV shows and stuff, you see someone go to a doctor's office and they get like a ticket. I've never seen it in real life, but I see it on TV a lot. So you get like this ticket, and mine was like 400 and something, which means that they keep the queue down basically, so it's not this massive queue. And like throughout the day, the board is changed, you know, like 3:30 to 3:50, queue up now. So I got my ticket, and I said, how likely is it that I'll get to meet him? And the guy was like, well, it'll probably be like towards the end of the afternoon, but you know, it's a pretty good chance. I was like, oh, okay, good. So I picked up some other virtual queue tickets, came back, and then you had to buy like a ticket and give them money, and it was weird. The guy was still there, and I said, oh, thanks for that. He said, oh, no problem. He said, I've actually got a spare ticket for Christopher Lloyd if you want. This probably earlier than yours, and he gave it to me and it was 3:16, so it was like 100 earlier than mine, so I was like, oh brilliant, so I was going to get to meet him even earlier. Then there was another queue. We bought all our autograph tickets, they were done, we were ready to meet them later on. There was another queue for photo shoots, which is you pay £25, which is quite expensive. I definitely wouldn't do it with anyone, you know, who was just, you know, just kind of famous or anything. It had to be someone who was really meaningful to me. £25, you get a picture with a professionally done picture with whoever it is. They take the picture, and at the end of the day it's processed and you pick it up. And there was one for Christopher Lloyd, and it was taking place right then. And I was like, oh, I thought, sod it, I'm going to go for it. So I queued up and I said, is there any way I can get a ticket for the Christopher Lloyd thing? Is it too late? And they're like, nope, there you go. And I was like, what, really? And they're like, yeah, you better run, but you should be able to catch it. So I ran off, joined this queue, and then for like the next few hours, me and Connie were just back and forth going to different things. We're like, right, I'll see you in like 20 minutes, I'm just going to run over there, I'll text you. I got to this queue, and there was people queuing up to get the picture of Christopher Lloyd, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool. Now I wore my Back to the Future t-shirt, and it was kind of like, you know, because it was kind of Back to the Future kind of day for me. But I kept my hoodie on because I didn't want to seem like a geek, you know, which sounds bad. You know, I've got nothing to get against geeks in general or anything, but you know, I put the t-shirt on. But it was so hot in there. There's so many people. I had to take the hoodie off, so I stood there on my Back to the Future t-shirt, looking like a right tit. And I thought, well, there's nothing I can do about it now. So I was queuing up, and there was these people there. Oh, there's this one guy who's on the phone. He's like, yeah, no, I'm in the queue to meet Christopher Lloyd, innit? I think he's like that scientist guy from Back to the Future. You know that film about time travel? And I was like, wow, he's just paid 25 quid to meet that scientist guy or something. Back to the Future. I just think what kind of people do that, you know? And then I got closer to the little opening, and you could see them taking pictures, and there he was taking pictures with people, and he looked kind of reserved. I mean, I've heard that he's a very shy guy and stuff, but he was kind of like, people were just kind of coming up to him, just like not even looking at him, just putting their arm around him and being like, yeah, look at me and all that, and he's just kind of like smiling like that, and I was like, oh, I guess it's kind of like, you know, he probably feels like they're just like going, there you go, money, picture, cheers, you know, kind of thing. So anyway, it was my turn to go up, and I always thought that if I ever met someone huge like that, or someone that was huge to me, I would be so shell-shocked, I wouldn't know what to say, and you know, you see that again on TV films where people are like that, but I really wasn't. I walked up to him, and he looked over at me, and I just couldn't help but smile and just said, what did I say? I said, oh hey, how are you doing? It's awesome to meet you, and I put my hand out, and he'd shake my hand, and he had this kind of glint in his eye, like, you know, someone actually showing some kind of interest. And he said, oh yeah, I'm doing fine, and yourself? And I was like, yeah, I'm great. Put his arm around me, we took the picture, and yeah, I was just smiling, grinning from ear to ear, and he actually smiled as well, a genuine smile. And I did see him smile genuinely with a few other people as well. It wasn't like it was just me or anything, you know, but it's obviously that people who put the effort in to actually talk to him and just, you know, not just be kind of using him in a way, he obviously appreciated. And I said, oh, thanks a lot, and take care. And he said, oh, you're welcome. And I was like, oh, brilliant. And I walked down, it's just like a really weird experience, and I got the picture here. This isn't the actual picture, I made a copy of it just to frame it. I don't feel like, you know, throw that off or anything, you might be able to see the camera reflected. But yeah, this is something I'll treasure for a very, very long time. It's just awesome, you know. And I love that, you know, it's basically two genuine smiles there, I think. You know, you can't fake that. And, you know, a bit of politeness goes a long way, basically. And then later on the day, I got to meet him again to get this poster signed. He actually signed this, and he actually signed, well, I'll tell you what happened. Like, I got to the autograph queue, and the big guy, the bodybuilder from earlier, he was there, and obviously he gave me one of his tickets, so we were next to each other, and we were kind of talking about the whole day and who we'd met and stuff, and you know, and so on and so forth. And he was saying how it's a really expensive hobby and stuff, and it's going to be his last convention because his wife actually had a kid on the way and stuff. And then, you know, off he went, and I said thanks, and then it was my turn, and it was really completely different to the photo shoot. There was about 4 people there kind of helping, and they were kind of just like, what are you getting signed? Pass it here. And they were just like throwing it along like a conveyor belt, and they were like, right, sign this to Christopher Lloyd, and he just had his head down the whole time, just trying to get it all done, and they were just being very rushing him, and like, there you go, next please, can you just bring that in here? Just, no one was getting a chance to even speak to him. And I thought, I'm not having this, you know. So I gave him a poster and they rolled it out and they just shoved it underneath him, and he didn't even look at me and just kind of was signing. And that wasn't his fault, you know, they were really being a bit full on with getting people in and out kind of thing. Which, you know, I can almost understand, because I actually read later on that the tickets that were given out got up to like 1,500, so a lot of people weren't seen. And he is very old, you know, he's in his 70s, and you know, to come over here to the UK, just fly over, and obviously he's getting paid and stuff, but to take that time out, you know, I'm sure he doesn't need this money, but to take the time out to come over and just like stand around taking pictures for like 2 hours and then sit down all day signing autographs, you know, for a guy of his age, I think, yeah, I really respect that. And yeah, he signed my poster and he signed it on the fire tracks here. And what I really like is that it's like a really like nice autograph that he took his time with as well. Yeah, this just brilliant, almost better than the picture. Just a great signature on a great poster. But then, as it was kind of shoved back to me, I held my hand out, you know, pretty deliberately so he would shake it, just to kind of get his attention and basically like say to the other guys, you know, I'm going to shake his hand. And he looked up and he shook my hand, and I said, "Oh, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time." And he kind of looked up and he went, "Oh, you're welcome." And he had a big smile on his face again. So I kind of felt like it was a big F you to those guys who were just kind of running it through and not giving anyone any time with him. It was one of those moments where I just walked off like, probably one of the only times I actually kind of got the better of someone. But yeah, that was really cool. A great day. Just went home really happy. Yeah, safe to say it was one of the best days of my life, just meeting a hero of mine from my childhood, and I'll never forget it. And one thing I like about him, along with Leo Thompson, who I also met, is that those two, and even Michael J. Fox, they seem to really love just how Back to the Future has just lived on, and they embrace it and they love it, and they go to these conventions, they meet people and they enjoy talking about it and all sorts of things. Whereas Thomas F. Wilson, who plays Biff, has really sworn off Back to the Future. He refuses to sign any Back to the Future autographs, and you know, I don't know why, because it's not like he's done that much since. The only thing I can think of that was really good was he was in Freaks and Geeks. But you know, it's just one of those things where obviously an actor doesn't want to be associated with it, which I think is really strange. But nevertheless, those three main guys, Christopher Lloyd, Leo Thompson and Michael J. Fox, they really do love it, so that's awesome. And that allowed me to meet them, and I got Leo Thompson to sign the poster as well. And yeah, that was really cool. So this is just a not a quick video, a long video about me meeting Christopher Lloyd, and there will be another meeting episode next time, episode 3. The third special episode of the Epic Film Challenge will be about me meeting George Lucas. So look forward to that one. And yeah, I enjoy talking about meeting Christopher Lloyd. And this is a picture that I will proudly display for the rest of my life. Thanks for watching.